Hey, what's up, guys? Wanted to try something new today. I have already done a fast puppy draft, and I'm just going to go through really quickly my thought process for all of my picks in this fast puppy draft. I was drafting from the 11 hole. I don't think it went perfectly, but I think I pulled it off anyway. Let me know in the comments what you think of the draft for me, if there's things that you think I should have done differently. But I'm just going to quickly go through my thought process. So, as you can see here, first pick, Puka Nakua. I should mention I'm using the ETR ranks for this one. Puka Nakua is like their 8th ranked, maybe 9th ranked player. He fell a little bit, not far past ADP, but I like him. I think he's a good first round pick. Nothing much to say. Take Puka Nakua here. Immediately see the 12 hole goes Jonathan Taylor. Gets a little unique, reaching for Cooper Kupp. Now I see that immediately. I know I have the opportunity here because nobody is probably going to reach for naked Matthew Stafford and make it happen, but it's unlikely to happen. I am going to have the first shot at Matthew Stafford when he comes back around ADP because I draft before the 12 hole in every turn. He's gonna get two after my first, but I'm always gonna have the first shot at every player. So I immediately see an opportunity when I see the 12 hole take Cooper Kupp here. Now I thought about going Drake London at 14. He was actually the higher ranked player, but because of the week 17 correlation, the Rams are playing the Cardinals. I decided to go with Marvin Harrison. I think that was a reasonable tiebreaker for Marvin Harrison over Drake London with that week 17 game, just hoping that the Rams Cardinals game goes completely off. All right, comes all the way back around to me. Tank Dell is there at 35. Now, I did think about taking Trey McBride here just to double up on that Arizona stack. I do like to do the double Cardinal stack. Sometimes you're usually not going to get it back at this, 59, 5, 6 turn. So I'm usually taking Trey McBride or sometimes taking Trey McBride at the 3, 4 turn, but I've done that a lot. And I have that 3-player combo quite a bit. Puka Nakua, Marvin Harrison, Trey McBride. So I decided to do something a little bit different. Decided to go with Tank Dell at pick 35 in the 3rd round. So now I'm also a bye week pro. I'm always cognizant of the bye weeks. I try, I don't try to completely avoid having players within a position with the same bye week, but I'm always kind of thinking of it, using it as a tiebreaker. So I go with Tank Dell here. Now I have bye weeks 6, 11, and 14 for those. Comes back around to me. The 12 hole takes George Pickens and Jalen Hurts. So unstack Jalen Hurts. So now I know this guy might be a little bit of a wild card. Going with Jalen Hurts right around ADP, completely unstacked. I'm thinking to myself, okay, I'm not going to be able to predict what this 12 hole drafter is trying to do, but I like T. Higgins. He was, one of the top ADP picks here. There was nobody else that I really liked as far as correlation goes, other than Trey McBride, who again I decided not to do what I've done several times. So I go with T. Higgins. He's just a player that I like in the 4th round. Also has a different bye week than my previous 3 wide receivers. Nothing else that I really love. There could have gone Zay Flowers for the week 17 with Tank Dell. I've done that plenty. Decided to go with T. Higgins in this one. Comes back around to me. I like Chris Godwin quite a bit. So this is just I'm going completely zero RB here. As you can see, 5 straight wide receivers to start. I like Chris Godwin quite a bit. I think that his value is pretty close to Mike Evans. I don't think that he should be going so far past where Mike Evans is going. I like that he's probably going to be playing more in the slot this year. So I just think Chris Godwin is a very solid value. So did not mind taking Chris Godwin at 59. He was kind of the player that I was targeting there. I often will take Keenan Allen ahead of Chris Godwin. Was actually planning on taking Chris Godwin here anyway over Keenan Allen, just to mix it up a little bit. So I was happy to see Chris Godwin fall to me. The 12 hole goes Xavier Worthy, George Kittle. George Kittle might have been somebody that I would have considered here. Rashee Rice. Now I already have 5 wide receivers. Rashee Rice goes at pick, comes to me at pick 62. That's right at ADP. So I didn't get any kind of great value on Rashee Rice. I should note he also has a repeating bye week with Puka Nakua, both week 12 bye weeks. Not the end of the world. I like Rashee Rice. I think that he's still rising in value. So I decided, you know what? I'm just going to get a 6th receiver right here. Could be done at receiver here. Now I really like this set of 6 receivers. I could just be done here is what I'm thinking. So I'll take Rashee Rice. I also like that I know already that at 83, there's a pretty good chance that one of these quarterbacks that I want is going to come back around to me. So I have outs for Kyler is a pretty likely. He often falls to me at 83. I like getting Kyler. He's one of my favorite quarterbacks. Also, CJ Stroud. I've seen CJ Stroud fall into that pick pretty frequently lately. So I knew that I had that out. And then T. Higgins, that's one more reason that I kind of liked T. Higgins here is it gives me one more out at that turn. So I just know I can push quarterback to that turn. If it falls to me that turn, I'm probably just going in ADP order. So I would have gone Stroud if he was available. If not Stroud, Kyler. If not Kyler, Burrow. Turns out both Kyler and Stroud go. here back to back, Kyler and Stroud at 67, 68. So it comes back around to me. Now I know that a lot of my quarterbacks are gone. We already have Kyler's gone, Stroud is gone, and Mahomes is gone. So three of the quarterbacks of the six wide receivers I've taken, three of their quarterbacks are gone. I want to get a stack in. So I take Joe Burrow. Also, obviously knowing that again, this turn a little bit of a wild card, took an unstacked Jalen Hurts. I don't know if they're thinking about stacking at all, so I'm not gonna risk letting Joe Burrow go back. There's also a string of running backs this year, a string of running backs that to me are all in kind of a similar tier. So it's pretty easy for me to just say, yeah, I'm just gonna get Burrow now, not risk the 12 hole taking unstacked Burrow like he did with Hurts. So I go Burrow, comes back around just the top ranked running back there. He's also a week 9 buy. He's also a correlation with Rashee Rice. So a lot of things go in for Najee Harris, aside from just being the top ranked player. And I needed a running back. So now I'm at one quarterback, 6 receivers, and 1 running back. I don't have any tight ends left. Now I'm hoping that another running back that I like comes back to me in the 9th round. I actually thought about going with a Brock Bowers, reaching for Bowers here. I decided not to just because I didn't have any running backs left. I just kind of made the decision that I'm going to push it. There's a chance that Njoku or Bowers comes back to me at 107. Otherwise, I'll just make this a 3 tight end build. So I take Najee Harris. A run of the running backs that I wanted did go here. Sometimes you'll get a faller in like a Tony Pollard or Zach Moss at this. They didn't come back to me. So I go Tyjae Spears, different bye week than Najee Harris. He was, I believe, the top ranked or one of the top ranked running backs there. So I needed a running back. I like Tyjae Spears as when I'm taking several shots at running back, he's a good guy to mix in there. Nothing really more to that pick. The turn then does go 2 running backs, Brian Robinson and Blake Corum. I probably would have taken Brian Robinson here if he had been available, but wasn't dead set on it. So I kind of I was okay with getting Devin Singletary there. So I go 3 straight running backs here. Now I'm up to 1 quarterback, 3 running backs, 6 receivers at this turn. And then it goes around another turn, comes back to me. Zeke Elliott, not somebody that I'm super high on, but I did get him 10 picks past ADP. I also think he is very live to surprise us, to be a lot better than we're expecting in that Dallas offense, to just get a lot more volume than we're expecting. And as we saw, Rico Dowdle went off at 102. So didn't have that out. Didn't have my choice of Dallas backs. I'm fine getting Zeke 10 picks past ADP. 12 hole goes Mike Williams and Ricky Pearsall. Comes back to me. I go Jerome Ford. Now it's all of my running backs here. I go 5 straight running backs. All have different bye weeks. Again, that's just a minor tiebreaker. It does affect advance rate a little bit in the research that I've seen, but you don't need to have like all of your running backs different bye weeks. Just something to be cognizant of. And there were no other running backs that I really like better than Jerome Ford there, so it just kind of worked out there to get Jerome Ford. We go back around. It was actually between Ford and Marshawn Lloyd for me. Marshawn Lloyd goes 1 pick after Jerome Ford. I think I have less exposure to Jerome Ford, so that was actually a tiebreaker for me as well there. So then we push it, comes back around to my pick. As I said, I knew I was going to have the first shot at Matthew Stafford here, and I took that shot. So I needed another quarterback. Basically, all of my quarterbacks were gone. I had Stafford and Baker Mayfield were the 2 quarterbacks that I could have considered. I decided to go with Stafford, thinking I could potentially even make this a 3 quarterback build. If I, depending on what came back around to me, I could even, and then I would maybe try to push Baker Mayfield as well. So I go Stafford. He has the earlier ADP. Of course, now I'm starting to think, all right, this turn might be a little bit tilted at me for taking Stafford, because then he immediately takes Demarcus Robinson well ahead of ADP. Maybe he just likes Demarcus Robinson. I don't know for sure if he's tilted at this point, but it does cross my mind that he took Demarcus Robinson. I prefer that because then I get Jermaine Burton, who I like better than Demarcus Robinson. Anyway, I've got the double Burrow stack here. Feeling good about that. I wasn't sure if I wanted to go with a 7th receiver, but getting Jermaine Burton past ADP, being able to double up my Cincinnati stack, I felt good about that. All right, then we push it the next turn, and now I'm at 2 quarterbacks. I have 5 running backs and 7 receivers. So I'm definitely done at receiver at this point. After I started with 6 and added on another receiver, I'm done at receiver. I'm basically just going running backs. If Baker Mayfield had come back to me, I would have taken Baker Mayfield and then loading up on tight ends because I don't have any yet at this point. So it comes back around to me, and it did cross my mind. I knew that Tyler Conklin is probably who the 12 hole wants after they took Aaron Rodgers. They did have Mike Williams already, so they already had a stack. I knew they wanted Tyler Conklin. Tyler Conklin was also the highest tight end in terms of ADP. He was not the highest ranked by ETR, but he was the highest ADP. And I actually like Tyler Conklin quite a bit. I think that if his touchdowns positively regress, he could have a big year. So he's actually a tight end that I'm sort of targeting. I was pretty happy to have Tyler Conklin fall to me at pick 179. I did know, yeah, I'm probably going to tilt the 12 hole here. And what do you know? If I wasn't sure before that they were tilting me, it takes both of the tight ends from my quarterbacks way ahead of ADP. So I love that. That is the best case scenario for me. The 12 hole goes Colby Parkinson and Mike Gesicki in the 15th and 16th round, just way ahead of ADP. The two tight ends that go with my quarterbacks. I'm not mad at it because I didn't want either of those tight ends. Isaiah Likely, actually, I get about 20 picks past where ETR has him ranked. So I was really happy to add Isaiah Likely on there. Also correlated with my Tank Dell picks. And now we've got the Houston Baltimore game stack going on there as well. Things really looking pretty good for me. Happy with the way this draft is going at this point. Now I've got two tight ends to go with my 7 receivers, 5 running backs, and 2 quarterbacks. Comes back around to me, and Autoc Estimate, just a big target of mine. Also, again, different bye week than any of the other running backs on my roster. I like that. So Estimate was not somebody I was going to risk the turn taking. So I go Estimate. Just love the ambiguity of that Denver backfield and love that Denver backfield in general. Just think there's going to be a lot of fantasy points scored there. So I tack on a 6th running back there. Now I sort of have my choice. Do I want to go a 3rd tight end? Probably. I'd been thinking I probably want 3 because I just have Conklin and Isaiah Likely at this point. I thought maybe if there was another running back that I wanted, I don't know. I needed a 3rd tight end. I decided to go with Michael Mayer. I like the upside there, even as a, even with Brock Bowers there. I think Michael Mayer does have some standalone value. Also think he has great contingent value. I clearly have the 2 best tight ends on the board, I think, in terms of contingent value, and Isaiah Likely and Michael Mayer. I think both have like mega contingent value. I think they both have some standalone value as well. And then I have Conklin there too. So I've end up with 3 tight ends, not the strongest tight end room. And you can see that the 12 hole here goes with two more Jets on his stack with Aaron Rodgers. So he's got a triple stack with Aaron Rodgers. Makes it work, I guess. So the final team I end up with is Joe Burrow and Matthew Stafford. And again, I don't love this team. I don't think this is like the best team that I've made, but I feel like I landed the plane pretty well. I think it turned out good enough that this team is live to advance, could do some damage in the playoffs if things work out just right. So I got Joe Burrow and Matthew Stafford at quarterback. At running back, Najee Harris, Tyjae Spears, Devin Singletary, Zeke Elliott, Jerome Ford, Audric Estime. You can see all my running backs have different bye weeks. I love that. Not something that I need to do with 6 running backs. You can obviously have overlapping buys, but I like when it does work out that way. Just kind of worked out there for me. At wide receiver, Puka Nacua, Marvin Harrison, Tank Dell, T. Higgins, Chris Godwin, Rashee Rice, Jermaine Burton, and at tight end, Tyler Conklin, Isaiah Likely, and Michael Mayer. So as far as stacking goes, I've got Burrow with both of T. Higgins and Jermaine Burton. And then I've got the bring back on that one of Audric Estime, one more bonus to getting Estime in that final round. So I've got a full-on game stack, Cincinnati, Denver, and then Stafford I have with obviously Puka, and then I have Marvin Harrison on the bring back. Some secondary correlations in this lineup as well with Rashee Rice, Najee Harris, with Tank Dell, Isaiah Likely. So probably others that I'm not seeing immediately. But I think that it worked out pretty well. Wasn't my favorite draft of all time, but I think ultimately looks pretty good. Happy with the way it turned out. So let me know in the comments what you think of this draft. If you think there are things that I should have done differently. And of course, if you haven't, please do subscribe to the channel, like the video, etc., etc. Trying to grow the channel, trying to get to 2,000 subscribers by the NFL season. Would appreciate any support I can get. Thanks, guys.